I spent $50,000 on our anniversary party only to catch my wife cheating with my best friend. Now they want forgiveness after losing everything and begging me to take them back. I spent $50,000 on our anniversary party only to catch my wife cheating with my best friend. Now they've lost everything and are living in his car. I, 35M, have been married to Sarah, 34F, for 10 years. We met during our junior year of college through mutual friends at a campus coffee shop. She was studying marketing, and I was finishing my computer science degree. It was one of those instant connections. We talked for hours that first day, sharing our dreams and ambitions. After dating through college, we got married in a beautiful ceremony right after graduation. Life was perfect, we both had great careers, a beautiful house in the suburbs, and were planning to start a family soon. I worked my way up to become a software architect, making around $180,000 after several strategic job moves. Sarah had climbed the corporate ladder impressively fast, becoming one of the youngest marketing executives at her firm and bringing in $120,000. We had just finished renovating our dream home, a gorgeous 4-bedroom colonial with a wraparound porch and a pool in the backyard. The kind of house we used to drive by in college and say someday. We were living the dream we'd planned in that coffee shop all those years ago. Weekend brunches on the porch, summer pool parties with friends, romantic date nights in our custom kitchen where we'd try to recreate recipes from our favorite cooking shows. Sarah even had a dedicated room for her home office, which I'd surprised her with last Christmas, complete with the exact ergonomic chair she'd been eyeing for months. We had it all, or so I thought. My best friend Jake, 35M, has been in my life since high school. We met in sophomore year when we were both trying out for the basketball team. Neither of us made the cut, but we became inseparable after spending the whole tryout cracking jokes about how terrible we were. He was there through everything: my parents' messy divorce, my first breakup, my struggles with anxiety during college. When I met Sarah, he was the first person I told that I thought she was the one. Jake was the obvious choice for best man at our wedding. His speech had everyone in tears. He talked about how he'd never seen me happier than when I was with Sarah, how we were relationship goals, how he hoped to find a love like ours someday. He came over for weekly game nights, helped us move into our house, and was basically family. I even helped him start his gym franchise, writing the business plan and lending him $50,000 of my savings as initial capital, which he did pay back, with interest, to be fair. He always seemed to have everything figured out: successful business owner at 35, dating beautiful women, living the entrepreneur's dream. Looking back now, I can see all the red flags I missed. The way he'd look at Sarah a little too long when she wore a swimsuit at our pool parties. How he'd often bring up their private conversations about fitness and nutrition. The inside jokes they seemed to share. But you never want to believe your best friend could betray you like that. Everything fell apart 3 months ago at our 10th anniversary party. I had been planning this surprise celebration for months, coordinating with her sister to make sure every detail was perfect. Rented out this gorgeous vineyard venue with stunning views of the valley, the same place where we had our first date in college. Hired her favorite local band, the one we used to see perform at campus bars when we were broke students. Even flew in her best friend from Seattle who she hadn't seen in years. The decorations were all in her favorite colors, soft blues and silvers, with thousands of fairy lights strung across the garden. The florist had recreated her wedding bouquet for the centerpieces. I'd spent weeks collecting photos from throughout our relationship and created this beautiful timeline display along the entrance hall. The caterers recreated dishes from our favorite dates, including that coffee shop's signature pastries from the day we met. I wanted every detail to remind her of our journey together and lead into our future plans. I had this whole speech prepared about our life together. How she'd supported me through 3 job changes to reach my dream position. How proud I was of her success. How excited I was to start the next chapter of our lives together. We'd been talking about trying for a baby soon. I even had an anniversary gift hidden away, a pair of tiny silver baby shoes with a note saying I was ready whenever she was. What a joke that turned out to be. The party was going great. Everyone was having a good time, dancing, drinking, celebrating our love story. Sarah looked stunning in this red dress I'd never seen before. I noticed she was spending a lot of time on her phone, but I figured she was just posting pictures or texting with friends who couldn't make it. Around 9 p.m., I couldn't find her anywhere. I asked around, but nobody had seen her for the past 20 minutes. Jake was missing too, but I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe they were outside getting some air or grabbing something from the car. That's when Lisa, Jake's girlfriend, came up to me looking upset. She showed me some texts she'd found on Jake's phone earlier that day. Hundreds of messages between him and Sarah, going back months. Sexting, meeting arrangements, pictures, the works. I felt sick reading them. The most recent ones were from just minutes ago: meet me in the storage room upstairs. I didn't want to believe it. These were the 2 people I trusted most in the world. But Lisa and I went upstairs, and there they were. We caught them in the act, in a storage room at my own anniversary party. Sarah was still wearing that red dress I'd never seen before. Turns out Jake had bought it for her. The next few minutes were chaos. Sarah crying, Jake trying to explain, Lisa screaming. I just stood there, completely numb. Then something in me snapped. I walked back downstairs to where all our friends and family were still celebrating, grabbed the microphone from the band, and exposed everything. Thanks everyone for coming to celebrate our marriage. Unfortunately, I just caught my wife sleeping with my best friend upstairs. Party's over. Feel free to take some cake home. The silence was deafening. Sarah came running down, mascara streaking down her face, begging me not to do this. Jake followed, trying to calm everyone down. But it was too late. Their perfect secret lives were exposed. I left immediately, checked into a hotel, and went completely dark. Turned off my phone, took 2 weeks off work, and just tried to process everything. When I finally turned my phone back on, there were hundreds of messages. Most were supportive, but the ones from Sarah and Jake were what you'd expect: endless apologies, explanations, begging for forgiveness. Affair had been going on for 8 months. It started at one of our game nights when I had to take a work call and stepped away for an hour. They kissed, and things escalated from there. They would meet at his gym during her evening workout sessions or at hotels when I was traveling for work. They swore it was just physical at first, but then they developed feelings. The worst part? They had been planning to end it. Sarah's message said they'd realized how wrong it was and had agreed to break it off after the anniversary party. One last hookup to get it out of their systems. The irony would be funny if it wasn't so painful. I hired the best divorce lawyer in town and went for the jugular. Sarah tried to play nice at first, offering an easy split, but I wasn't having it. I wanted everyone to know exactly what they did. The fallout was spectacular. Our friend group imploded. Most people sided with me, but a few mutual friends tried to stay neutral. It's complicated, they said. These things happen. Those people got cut off too. Lisa went nuclear on social media, exposing everything to all our business contacts. Sarah's company, which does a lot of business with local fitness chains, was not happy about her affair with a prominent gym owner. She got demoted and transferred to another department with a significant pay cut. Jake's gym business took a massive hit. Turns out people don't like their personal trainer sleeping with clients' wives. He lost half his customers within a month. 2 of his locations had to close down. The karma train didn't stop there. Sarah's parents, who had always treated me like a son, were devastated. They're old-school religious folks who had already been disappointed when Sarah's sister got divorced last year. Now their perfect daughter was an adulteress. They'd barely spoken to her since. Jake's reputation in the fitness community was ruined. He had been planning to expand his franchise statewide, but all his potential investors backed out. His girlfriend Lisa, who'd been managing his social media and marketing, made sure everyone knew what kind of man he really was. Now, 3 months later, they're both trying to crawl back. Sarah sent me a 12-page letter about how she made the biggest mistake of her life. She's in therapy, has sworn off dating, and wants to rebuild my trust. She even offered to sign a post-nup giving me everything if I take her back. Jake showed up at my office last week, crying about how he's lost everything. His business is failing, his girlfriend left him, most of his friends won't talk to him. He said he'd give me 50% ownership of his remaining gyms as restitution if I help rehabilitate his image. The audacity of these people is amazing. They didn't just cheat, they actively deceived me for months. Game nights, double dates, family dinners, all while sneaking around behind my back. Every memory from the past year is now tainted, making me question what was real and what was just part of their act. You know what's really messed up? They're dating now. After everything blew up and they both lost so much, they figured they might as well be together openly. But surprise, surprise, their amazing connection isn't so amazing without the thrill of sneaking around. Sarah drunk texted me last night saying she misses our life together. That Jake is different now that they're actually dating. He's possessive, jealous, constantly checking her phone because once a cheater, always a cheater. The irony would be hilarious if it wasn't so sad. Jake's business is on the verge of bankruptcy. He tried to rebrand his gyms with a fresh start marketing campaign, but the local community wasn't having it. The review sections on all his social media pages are filled with people sharing our story and warning others about his character. He's had to sell his Tesla and move into a small apartment, a far cry from the luxury penthouse he used to brag about. Sarah's looking for a new job because her pay cut isn't enough to maintain her lifestyle. She had to give up her designer handbag collection and cancel her country club membership. Last I heard, she's been unsuccessfully trying to get her old marketing clients to follow her to her new position, but most want nothing to do with her. She even tried to start a social media consulting business on the side, but that went nowhere when potential clients Googled her name. They're both social pariahs in our circle. Even the few friends who initially tried to stay neutral have distanced themselves after seeing how they've handled everything. And somehow, despite all this, they still think I might forgive them and help them rebuild their lives. Not happening. The divorce will be final next month. I've already sold our house and bought a nice condo downtown. Started going to therapy, hit the gym, a different chain, obviously, and even went on a few dates. My therapist helped me understand that their actions weren't a reflection on me. Some people are just selfish and will take advantage of trust, no matter how good you are to them. I've gotten into rock climbing, something I'd always wanted to try but Sarah thought was too dangerous. Joined a local climbing gym and made some new friends who have no connection to my old life. There's even a woman there, Emily, who I've been getting coffee with after our climbing sessions. She's a pediatric nurse, divorced 3 years ago, and actually understands what I'm going through. We're taking things very slow, just friends for now, but it's nice to know there's life after betrayal. I've also reconnected with old friends from college who'd drifted away during my marriage. Turns out Sarah had subtly discouraged some of these friendships because she thought they were immature. Now I realize she just didn't want me to have a support system outside of her and Jake. Life is different now, but I'm doing better than okay. I'm rediscovering who I am without them. Yesterday I got a joint email from them. They want to meet and clear the air before the divorce is final. Say they have things they need to tell me. I haven't responded. Some bridges can't be rebuilt, and I'm honestly happier with them burned. The only thing I wish I could change is finding out sooner. We were talking about having kids just weeks before I caught them. I can't imagine going through this with children involved. In a weird way, maybe I should thank them. Their inability to keep it in their pants saved me from being tied to them forever. My therapist says I'm handling everything in a healthy way, but sometimes I still get angry thinking about it. Not just at them, but at myself for being so blind. All those late-night workouts, the sudden business trips, the new clothes and haircuts, classic cheating behavior that I completely missed. But you know what? I'm going to be okay. Better than okay, actually. I'm free from a wife who didn't respect our marriage and a friend who betrayed my trust. They have to live with what they did, and from what I hear, karma's doing a better job at punishing them than I ever could. As for their request to meet, I think I'll pass. Some people say closure is important, but I got all the closure I needed when I caught them at our anniversary party. The only thing left to say will be good riddance when the divorce is final next month. I've already drafted and deleted a dozen responses to their meeting request. Each one more scathing than the last. But in the end, silence speaks louder than words. My therapist says anger is a natural part of healing, but letting it consume you only gives them more power over your life. She's right. The best revenge isn't some carefully crafted response or public humiliation. Living well and moving forward. Every time I'm tempted to respond to their messages or check their social media, I hit the climbing gym instead. Turn that negative energy into something positive. The thing about betrayal is it doesn't just break your heart, it shatters your entire worldview. Every memory becomes a question mark. Was she really working late all those nights? Were they laughing at me during our game nights? How many of our friends knew? But eventually, you have to stop torturing yourself with questions that don't matter anymore. The past is the past. All that matters is what you do next. Yesterday, I cleared out the last box of wedding mementos from my storage unit. Cards, guest book, photo albums, straight into the dumpster. It felt symbolic somehow, like finally closing the book on that chapter of my life. I kept one thing though, a letter I wrote to myself the night before my wedding, full of hopes and dreams for the future. Not because I'm sentimental, but as a reminder that having hope isn't a weakness. Being betrayed doesn't mean you were foolish for trusting. It means they were wrong for breaking that trust. Tomorrow I have my final therapy session before the divorce hearing. My therapist thinks I'm ready, and honestly, I agree. I'm not angry anymore, just disappointed, in them, not myself. They threw away something beautiful for something cheap and tawdry. That's on them. Me? I'm ready to write a new story, one where betrayal isn't the ending, but the beginning of something better. Update, 2 weeks later. It's been 2 weeks since my last post, and things have gotten even more interesting. Remember how I mentioned Sarah and Jake wanted to meet? Well, after dodging their attempts at contact for days, Sarah's sister finally cornered me at my local coffee shop. Turns out she'd been staking out my usual spots trying to deliver their important news in person. When she told me Sarah was pregnant, I actually laughed out loud in the middle of the cafe. 6 weeks along, which means it happened right around the time of our anniversary party. The timing would technically work to claim it as mine, which was exactly their brilliant plan. Sarah claims she didn't know when she sent that 12-page apology letter, but found out last week. Now they're both freaking out because neither of them is in a position to support a child. These two, who were so caught up in their passionate affair that they couldn't keep their hands off each other at my anniversary party, are now realizing that actions have consequences. Jake's last gym location is closing at the end of the month. Turns out banks aren't keen to refinance loans for businesses with tanking reputations. Sarah just got laid off because her new department is restructuring, though word is her presence was making clients uncomfortable. They've been fighting constantly, blaming each other for their situation. Jake accused Sarah of getting pregnant on purpose to trap him, and Sarah's been telling people Jake pressured her to sleep with him that night because it was exciting. The karma just keeps coming. They wanted to meet because they're hoping I'll consider taking Sarah back and raising the baby as my own. Yes, you read that right. When Sarah's sister told me this, I thought she was joking. But apparently, they had spent days planning this proposal, even preparing a whole presentation about how it could work, complete with a PowerPoint deck Sarah had made. Once a marketing executive, always a marketing executive, I guess. Their actual proposal, delivered via Sarah's sister, was that we could say the baby is mine since the timing would work, and give our marriage another chance. I laughed for about 10 minutes straight when I heard this. Then I called my lawyer. We're now pushing to get the divorce finalized even faster, specifically citing her pregnancy as evidence of adultery. In our state, this could affect the final settlement. The best part? Jake's parents, who initially tried to defend him, have now completely cut him off. They were his last source of financial support, helping him keep his last gym location afloat. When they found out about the baby and this ridiculous proposal to pass it off as mine, they were done. I almost feel bad for the kid. Almost. Growing up with two selfish, morally bankrupt parents who destroyed their own lives over an affair, that's going to be rough. But that's not my problem. I'm just grateful once again that I found out what kind of people they really are before having a child of my own. The thought that I was actively trying to start a family with Sarah just months ago makes me sick now. Emily, the woman from my climbing gym, has been incredibly supportive through all this. She went through something similar in her divorce, though not quite as dramatic, and understands the emotional roller coaster. We've been spending more time together, taking things slow, just enjoying each other's company without expectations. She's shown me that there are still good, honest people out there who understand what loyalty means. Last night, I had dinner with my old college roommate who's in town for business. He reminded me of something I'd completely forgotten. During our senior year, Sarah had actually tried to date both me and another guy at the same time, claiming we weren't officially exclusive yet. I'd forgotten all about it because she'd eventually chosen me, and I'd written it off as college drama. Funny how red flags look so much clearer in hindsight. Looking back over these past few months, I realized that finding out about their affair, while devastating, was actually a blessing in disguise. I'm free from a marriage that was built on lies, free from a friendship that was never real, and free to build a life with someone who actually deserves trust. The pain isn't gone completely, I doubt it ever will be, but it's more like a scar now than an open wound. A reminder of what I survived and what I'll never tolerate again. So here's to new beginnings, hard lessons, and the kind of karma that proves the universe has a sense of humor. Their perfect affair turned into a nightmare, while I'm building a better life without them. Sometimes losing everything you thought you wanted leads you exactly where you need to be.